This week on No Cell Service, our hosts cover the post-apocalyptic horror 28 weeks later. This content is intended for mature audiences only. Listener discretion is advised.
We usually don't do a lot of introductory banter or anything, but I thought it was good to start this one off with a caveat of pretty sure neither of us like this movie.
Yeah, I think that the first time I watched it, I was really unhappy with it. I think this time I wasn't unhappy with it, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know. I think some of my opinions changed, but
I think for me, it felt less like a 28 Days Later movie and more like a zombie action flick, and that's my problem with it.
That is 100%.
Especially after watching 28 Years and going back to this one.
Yeah.
It was pretty rough.
Yeah, I agree. I think they tried to keep some of the theme, or like, there's a lot of places where I think that they tried to like instill that same feeling, but I do think it fell short. It felt like I was watching a B-side like version of World War Z almost, you know?
Yeah. It was rough. So this I think was my third time watching it. My first time I don't even remember it. I just remembered bits and pieces as I watched it the second time. The second time I was more watching it to watch 28 Years Later, so I wasn't really delving into it. And this last time I watched it, I was scrutinizing the shit out of it because that's the whole point of this, right?
Yeah.
And as I was watching it, I was just like, what the fuck is going on? Mm-hmm. Because of like my family being in the military and then watching what was happening with the military stuff and just what I know about the military, I was like, I don't know, that doesn't seem realistic to me, but like, what do I know? I wasn't actually in the military, and so I like delved into some Reddit stuff and some things, and it was a lot of back and forth with everything, but mostly everyone being like, the military was very incompetent in this movie.
Yeah, no, I definitely thought that. Like, we'll touch on some points later, but there were definitely some parts where I was just like, dude, you fucking, like, this is all you're supposed to do, and you can't.
Yeah, and I'll bring that up later when some big points hit of like the Reddit forums I delved into. Mm-hmm. But I thought a good question to start this off with was, have you and your wife talked about what you guys are doing in an apocalyptic situation? This is something me and my wife have talked about.
No, honestly. You know my wife. She doesn't like a lot of that existential like dread stuff. It just makes her panic. And so like there are some things that we talk about like that, but I don't think it would be an issue having a conversation about that, but we have not actually like sat down and discussed what would happen. Okay,
so like I said, me and my wife have. We're not survivors. We're not even trying. Like, the only thing that would change is if we had kids, that would change.
Yeah.
But in our current situation, we're not survivors. She gets quarterly medications. She has dailies and weekly medication she has to intake, and without that, like, she can't move.
Yeah.
So it's just like, what's the point in doing any of this? Yeah. Like, if we're just gonna live even worse than we are now to survive, we do not have a self-preservation drive at all to survive many, many horror movie situations that are post-apocalyptic. Yeah. There's a few we have discussed that we're like, okay, we would try and survive this one, but infected semi-zombie apocalypse type deal? No, we're not even trying. We would be Jim's parents from 28 Days Later, where we go peacefully in our bed in PJs.
Yeah.
That is our thing.
You know, honestly, I always thought that, like, when I was younger, I was always like, yeah, I totally, like, I'd do this and I'd survive, but now that I'm older, I don't think my back could take running away from, like, a zombie for more than, like, 5 minutes.
Or just sleeping on whatever you can find.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
Like, dude, I would wake up in the morning with a neck crick so bad, I'd rather just go out and get eaten at that point. So yeah, I think I'm in the same boat as you, and if my wife doesn't like that, she'll just have to deal. She can fight on and be the badass in that story, and I'll just fade away in obscurity.
Oh. So we are on the opposite spectrum of Don and Alice. Our intro protagonist to 28 weeks later. Yeah. Which we don't learn that until about 15 minutes into the movie, where we are in the timeline. And so trying to backtrack the timeline, I think this intro cottage of them and the throwaway characters that we barely meet is roughly around the same time period as Jim's storyline. If not a few days, maybe a week or two later, of this intro of them surviving the apocalypse, having like Quiet Place type shelter.
Yeah, like all the windows are boarded up, like you can't see out any...
You think it's nighttime, but it's actually bright-ass fucking day outside.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I could not live like that for starters. But...
Oh, I agree. I think, yeah, I mean, the fact that you know there's something outside just, like, lurking around waiting for you to, like, fuck up at all. Yeah. I don't think I could live with that anxiety, even if I had a lifetime supply of anxiety meds.
Or imagine the tummy issues. All they're eating is pasta and chickpeas.
Oh my god, dude. Yeah.
We're so old.
I'm not even allergic. I can't even have chickpeas.
Yeah, you can have the pasta with the tomatoes, right? But they were running out of tomatoes. Yeah. You couldn't eat the chickpeas. You're not getting any protein. You were surviving off of starches and carbs entirely.
Yeah, I just get to lay on the ground and cry. I mean, it doesn't last too long because some bitch just decides like, oh, I'm going to like go peek outside just for...
She peeks outside because the boy knocks at the door.
I guess there's a knock at the door. All these survivors are like, oh my god, and then they let a child in because it's a child.
It's a child, but like it's such a catch-22, and this is one decision I don't blame Don on, of him being like, we're not letting that kid in. Yeah. Like, it's 50-50, right? Because I want to say I wouldn't let that kid in, but then I feel like a shit person is like, it's a kid, but also like, what is the kid running from and bringing to me?
Yeah, I think that's one thing. I think for me, I was sitting there thinking like, it would have been fine if that bitch didn't like go to look outside.
That's fair.
Because like...
They got him in fast enough and were like boarded up the house pretty quick. Yeah,
so like, okay, it's just an assumption here, but like, if that assumption means life or death, you just assume that, yeah, they're outside. You don't take a fucking peek.
To be fair, it could have also been her trying to see if her boyfriend was one of them. Because that's like her whole, again, throwaway plotline. You barely learn that her boyfriend ran away 5 days ago, deserted them, quote unquote, and she's been waiting for him ever since. Yeah. So it could be that she's not checking for what's chasing him, but checking to see if her boyfriend is either one of the infected or nearby. So,
either way, it's dumb.
I'm not calling her smart. And anyway, she dies first. So.
Yes, she gets fucking... Her arm gets grabbed, of course, from a zombie outside, and they start tearing into her. She gets yanked back, but then by that time, she's infected. So she bites the dude that was helping her, and then hell breaks loose in the house, and
then everyone disperses. Alice and Survivor Boy run upstairs because of fucking course they do. Dawn stays downstairs, and then Jacob and the elderly couple run to the barn. Yes. And then you get this split point of view between the three in the barn and Dawn, Alice, and the Survivor Boy in the house. It's very, very hectic. I did very much enjoy the cinematography of this, and throughout the movie I did really enjoy the shaky cam, trying to make it... the director said he kind of wanted it to be more like documentary style, and that definitely comes out in the shaky cam, the way everything was filmed. Yeah,
it's a very hectic scene. Like my brain's even having trouble figuring out how to like put it into words exactly, like when certain things happen, because a lot happens in this short amount of time. Like you have them run upstairs with the boy, and then they get separated somehow.
Yeah, so she tries to follow the boy upstairs, who instantly bolted. Dawn stays downstairs, trying to deal with what's happening downstairs, and then he's screaming for Alice to leave, realizes she ran upstairs and is trying to get to her. While in the barn, the old man is blocking the door so his wife and the other throwaway character, Jacob, can go up into like the loft of I don't know what it's called, like the lofty barn area up the like rickety ladder. He gets murked. Old lady and Jacob Jacob's trying to pull her up the ladder, and she just keeps like screaming and is freaking out because her husband of X amount of years is dead, and then she gets grabbed by the infected and she's like, Jacob, help me, and he's like, fuck, and closes the trapdoor and is upstairs, and then we see him climb out of the barn roof, and then we don't see him again for a little bit. Cuts back to Dawn. Alice can't find Survivor Boy. He's hiding too good. And even while she's like, come out, like trying to get him to come out, this boy won't come out. And I guess that just like proves his trauma of what he's gone through, because it was his mom and dad who were chasing him that got infected first. Yeah. And so, yeah, trauma response from that still. And Dawn's like, leave him, we need to go. And she's like, I'm not fucking leaving him, he's a kid. And he's like, we need to leave. Yeah. And she's like, wait, no, I see him, and he's hiding in the closet because she checked under the bed and all the other places before the closet, which I feel like either under the bed or in the closet is where kids hide. Yeah. And then he's like trying to pull her through the bathroom, because it's like the primary bedroom, trying to pull her into the bathroom. She goes for the kid, infected bursts through the door, and like they're in between Alice and Dawn, and Alice is like, help us, and Dawn is like, and shuts the door on his wife and the survivor boy, and then runs out. He's getting chased by infected, and he, to his good point about him, he does look very distraught that he just left his wife.
Yeah,
and her staring out the window is very creepy.
Yeah, no, he looks back and she's like standing in the window, like staring at him like, oh my god, you just fucking left me. But like in this situation, genuinely, I think if they did it in any other way, it would have been very easy to blame him. But I think the way that they framed it was to try and make some sort of like ambiguity of like, did he do it because he's a piece of shit, or did he do it because he knew like he literally had no choice? And
they do. That's something we skimmed over. They do have kids that were on a school trip abroad, so, like, one of them needs to stay for the kids, and that's the only points I give him, because, like I stated at the top, me and my wife are not surviving, and if my wife got attacked by something, I'm not trying to save myself. Like, I'm going with her.
Yeah.
But that's my personal opinion, and it could have been changed in this situation. Maybe, well, my fight or flight response is freeze. So, like, I'm not running. I'm probably freezing and dying as well.
Yeah, I think I'd do the same. So, like...
So, to his point, I want to say that he is trying to survive for his kids, and that he's not a piece of shit.
Yeah, because he does run, and then, like, you see him getting chased by so many zombies, but then it, like, fades to black.
No, that he gets to the boat.
Oh, no, he gets to the boat. That's right.
They have the, like, little, just like a small little, like, one motor little fishing boat where Jacob is already untying it. He escaped the barn, is there.
Yeah, that's right.
And so, Don jumps in the boat. Jacob finishes untying it, kicks the boat off, but then Jacob gets taken into the water and is bitten, and he's screaming for Don's help, and Don's like, shit, and he just keeps going. Also, on a side note, Don is played by the actor who was Rumpelstiltskin in Once.
Oh my god, you're right.
And I could only see that for so long.
That's so funny.
I could just picture that, and I was like, you're a great actor, and I'm so sorry, the thing I recognize you from is Once.
That's fine. We'll get into some characters later that I was just like, oh yeah, I forgot you're in this.
Yeah. Then we cut, this is where it cuts to black, and then we get the text on screen that gives you the timeline up into this point. So, you know, the original, I have it written down, we learn it takes 5 weeks for the infected to die of starvation. At 11 weeks, NATO forces arrive, and led by the U.S., because what else would the U.S. be fucking doing except leading a charge into certain doom? Mm-hmm. At 18 weeks, mainland Britain is declared free of infection, and week 24 is when they start building anew. So by the time we get to week 28, they're moving people who were refugees in other countries that, like, survived and left back into Britain. We get introduced to Scarlet, who is a major, but she is the medical officer.
Yeah.
And she is very unhappy that they're now admitting children when they only started rebuilding 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, she's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, you're bringing children into this? But, like, you literally have, like, it shows military guys coming out of houses with just, like, biohazard bags and, like, giant piles of them in the streets. So you're like, this place isn't even done cleaning up, and they're letting kids back in.
Yeah, because they cleared Sector 1, or District 1, which is the Isle of Dogs. And I didn't realize the Isle of Dogs wasn't just, like, an island off the side of Britain. Mm. It is literally, like, the closest that I can describe it is, like, a suburb of London. Oh, so it's, like, it's this weird, like, little suburb in a little, like, there's, like, a river kind of that goes around it. Yeah. And it's almost fully sectioned off by water, but, like, still in the mainland.
Yeah.
And in the Reddit forum I was reading, they're like, if you were gonna do it anywhere, the Isle of Dogs is the place to do it because of it being surrounded by water.
Yeah.
So it's actually, like, an ideal location for where it is.
Interesting.
Which, yeah, again, I don't know geography, so I had to look into that.
No, 100%. I do think, by the way, the major is played by, I can't never remember her name, but it's the mom from Insidious.
That's the mom from Insidious?
Yeah.
Oh my god. I was just thinking of Hawkeye the entire time with...
Well, yeah, because...
But we'll get to him later.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing, is, like, it also cuts to, like, some military guys, like, on top of the roofs, and, like, you see...
He plays a sniper, obviously.
Yeah, Jeremy Renner plays, guess who? A fucking sniper on top of one of these roofs, which, again, I forgot that he was in this movie, so, like, I turned it on to, like, rewatch it, and I was like... Hawkeye.
Yeah. That's all I could picture was Hawkeye, and I felt so bad.
And then I created my little canon where he was only allowed to be a part of the Avengers because he helped save,
Britain from the apocalypse?
Yes, but he didn't. But, but it's fine.
A fun headcanon, as it were. And so then we get Don getting back with his kids, who are Tammy and Andy. They're 17 and I think 10. They get a cool little apartment, and this is where we learn that for some reason, Don has AAA access to all areas.
Yeah.
And he's like, I run this place. And they're like, yeah, bullshit, you're like a janitor or a caretaker. And he's like, no, I run the place. And he shuts them in the revolving doors to prove that he can.
Yeah.
Which plays in later is the only reason I bring it up. But, like, literally he says he is in control of heat, electric, water, literally like a caretaker of facilities. And for some reason that gives him all access, which doesn't make any sense to me.
It's like, it's like being Jack and working at the hotel in The Shining. It's like you're given all access because, like, you're supposed to...
But to be fair, Jack's hotel was empty. Like, it made sense that he couldn't get, like, other clearance for anything else. In a military shutdown place, I feel like you would have... So, like, at my job, right? Like, my wife has access to all of the places, just about. However, we have another janitorial staff that does not have access to those areas.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's a tiered thing where, like, you have the base access, and then you should have someone else who has the higher access. Especially for some of the areas that he gets to later. It does not make sense for him to have access to those areas. I feel like it would have to be a dual access of someone higher and then his card. Or just access of someone being like, you need to be escorted.
Yeah.
So
that's fair. I do. For some reason, he has fucking access. I mean, he's like...
He has access to everything. Yeah. And that was what I thought at first, too, was like, oh, he needs to get to all of the areas. And I was like, but that doesn't make quite sense in a tiered, like, military system, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know.
I did miss my favorite line, though. So we get a flash of the major talking to the general and some of the other higher commanding officers at the lunch table.
Yeah, which the general is played by Idris Elba.
Yes.
Great dude.
And his name is General Stone.
Yeah, General Stone.
But he has the most American line of all time of, if the virus comes back, we'll kill it.
Yeah.
Because that's the way viruses work, for sure. You can just kill it.
Yeah, that was a line that he said for sure.
God, it was awful. I was like, who the fuck says that to your commanding medical officer?
Yeah, especially when she's like, we don't know how this shit works. Like, you don't know what's happening right now.
Yeah, and he's like, well, we already cleared it, and everyone's already dead, and we know how long it takes to do everything. And she's like, but what if we're not? And he's like, it won't. And she's like, but what if? Like, trying to think of worst case scenarios, and they're like, being all commanding officer about it.
Yeah.
And then we jump to their penthouse suite, which isn't actually a penthouse suite. They're high up, but they're not on the top floor. And you can tell that when Jeremy...
Yeah, he looks
through his sniperscope and is looking through everybody's windows.
Yeah, just checking on everyone. It looks like a fucking hotel room. Like, it looks like a Best Western room that I've stayed in before, you know?
Just like one of those like really big suite rooms that has a different living room and kitchen, and then it has like separate bedrooms. Yeah, it pretty much looks like a hotel room. The kids ask, what happened to Mom? And our lovely Don has to regale the story and fudges it a little bit, saying he did everything he could. Also, that part, so the kids are sitting right next to each other, and I don't know about you with your siblings. My brother would have pushed all of that shit off the couch and would not have sit that close to me in that scene. Like, that's not happening.
Yeah, I think it's funny when movies, they, like, try to insert a brother and sister, but then they don't know what an actual...
Like sibling relationship is?
In that situation, I don't know if they'd care that much, because it's, like, an apocalypse and they're talking about their mom dying. So, like, they may not care. Also, at that age, like, I feel like...
I think the age difference is what helps.
Yeah, so it's like older sister versus younger brother. Like, a 7-year difference is, like, pretty big, you know? So you're, like, two different people.
Yeah, that's what kind of helps me get through that. But I could just imagine me and my brother in that situation, and my brother looking at me and being like, fuck that, and, like, either pushing me off and sitting where I was, or just shoving everything off the couch or sitting on the floor. Yeah. But then I did have to think about the age difference, because if it was me with one of my sisters, I think we would have been fine, because we have like a 9 and 10 year age gap.
Yeah.
So I think it would have been different.
It's like a different generation entirely, you know?
Yeah, exactly. The sister cries, and we don't get to see Andy, the little brother's reaction.
Yeah.
But I think it's one of those things that, like how we talked about in Barbarian, seeing something is different from hearing it.
Yeah.
So they've only heard about how bad the infected is and how bad everything is, and they've seen a little bit of the cleanup and stuff, but Andy says, was there nothing you could do to help Mom? And even in the original storyline of the actual story, there wasn't a lot he could do. Yeah,
genuinely, like, the entire time I was thinking that, like, damn, like, it sucks that he left her behind, but, like, I don't know if he could have done much.
No, I think he would have just died in the process as well.
He would have just died. Yeah.
He dropped his crowbar. That was his only weapon he had, and it fell out of his hand downstairs, and he couldn't get back to it. So, like, I don't think there was anything he could do.
And so when he says that, like, he's pretty genuine. He's like, I don't know, dude. Like,
what I could have done would have also killed me in that situation. Mm-hmm. And so, like, the kids take it in a weird way of, like, I think they're kind of getting some resentment on their dad for not doing more to save their mom. But also, like, I see it from his point of view. Also, like, there literally was nothing he could do.
Well, I mean, as kids do, they decide to do some really dumb shit.
Yeah, we get Doyle has been not actively watching over them, but he's a rooftop sniper, so he has been watching over everybody.
Yeah.
And so he catches them when they sneak out the next day, because...
They sneak across the river because they want to run back to their house.
To get a picture of Mom, so Andy doesn't forget what she looks like.
Yeah, because he was like, I don't want to forget what Mom looks like.
And Tammy's like, you won't. And he's like, but what if?
He's like, but what if I do? Yeah. And
the way they cut across is terrifying to me. Oh my god.
Yeah, so like, when you see a bridge, I don't know if you've seen, like, the bridges specifically in London. I know that they probably are similar on, like, big bridges here, but I haven't seen them in real life, so I wouldn't know. But, like, when you see a big bridge, and then they have, like, just outside the railing, it's, like, a big cylindrical, like... almost like pipes, but I don't know if it is actual pipes because they're almost like bigger. Yeah, it's almost like
like it would float in water type thing, but I don't know what it's used for structurally.
Yes, exactly.
But it's on the outside of the railing, and so to dodge the army station there, they jump the railing and walk across that thing on the outside of the bridge.
I'm sorry if it's that easy for those two kids to just get along like nothing happened.
And the railing is like wire. Yeah. It's not like anything you can hide behind.
No, it's just they just get past, and I'm like, okay, well, there's the first count of military incompetence.
Yes. And so for me, 1, I have a thing with heights. 2, I can't swim. Like, I could not physically do that. I would die. I would have a panic attack and die, and then drown. Like, I could not do that. So props on kids for thinking they're invincible. They cut across, and then they come across... I had to look this up because I thought it was a moped. I did not realize there was a difference between a moped and a scooter.
I thought that was the Vespa.
It's a scooter, so is a Vespa moped?
That's a good fucking question.
So they come across a scooter, and my first inclination was, how the hell can she drive that? Because I thought of motorcycles where you have to switch gears. Scooters, you don't have to. They're automatics.
No, yeah.
Which makes a lot more sense in my head. But, like, the first time I watched it, I was like, this 17-year-old is just, like, going for it. And I was like, at 17, I couldn't drive a stick. But, like...
But it's like one of those, like, pizza boy scooters, you know? Yeah. So, like, I'm assuming that by that age, like, you might have learned how to drive that kind of thing.
Probably.
I don't know.
She also sees her first body there.
Yeah.
Which is weird, because they passed a bunch of biohazard bags. So you think all of the bodies would be already taken out?
Yeah, I think at that point, they were at a stretch of road where, like, there wasn't really biohazard bags. It was still a lot of, like, trash and, like, cars in the street and stuff like that.
But there weren't any bodies in the road, and that's what made me think that, like, they had already cleaned up this area, is because, like, there should have been more, I think, bodies and, like, gore.
Well, and, you know, they maybe, like...
Maybe just cleaned up the streets and haven't gotten into all the buildings yet?
Yeah, they could do it in... like sweeps, you know, like the street, and then they'll go through the buildings after, or like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, that's fair. I just thought it was weird because it's like a skeletonized
like
body.
Imagine, you know, you can't drive through the streets to like clean shit up if there's shit all in the streets. So you got to clean that first, and then you can like go through and like get the nooks and crannies.
Okay, know? I'll concede to that point. So yeah, they steal steal, I guess, is a loose term. The scooter. They go back home. They have a cute little montage of driving and
driving through empty London.
Yes.
Which, again, I think that shot and those shots like play into the feeling of like isolation from the first movie.
Yes.
Like they wanted to recapture like the emptiness of London and like
what's the right word? The apocalyptic feeling of just nothing.
Yeah.
I highly agree. And they make it back home, where the key is still hidden under garden paper. Mm-hmm. But Dad was talking about how he didn't want to go back home, insinuating something bad had happened there.
Yeah.
But she unlocks the door, and everything is fine. The place isn't turned over. There's nothing to insinuate that something bad happened. No windows are broken. Nothing's destroyed. Like, it was weird to me that he's like, I don't ever want to go back there, when nothing seemed to be wrong.
You sure? Because, like, the room upstairs was all, like...
But that's where Alice has been living.
Oh, yeah, which...
Spoiler.
Oh, my gosh.
Spoiler.
they go upstairs and find out that Alice isn't dead. She's been living in their house in that room.
And has been marking days and deaths and circling Andy and Tammy, hoping they're still alive. But yeah, that was the only room that was janky, and that's because, like, that's where she's been hiding.
That's fair.
Everything else was, like, fine. So that was a weird point to me. That was, like, a weird inconsistency to me. Yeah.
Yeah, that is weird. I don't know.
Alice grabs Andy. Because Andy goes up there trying to find Tammy. And grabs him, and he's like, oh my god, I knew you weren't dead. She won't let go. And is, like, hurting him, won't let go.
Yeah.
And he's finally able to break free. There's the helicopter going.
Yeah, he, like, panics.
He panics.
Doyle's friend in the helicopter shows up because, you know, he told them that 2 children ran across the fucking river.
His name's Flynn. And all I can think of is Flynn Rider from Tangled.
Yeah. Flynn is like, oh, you know, he goes and picks them up.
They take in Alice thinking she's a survivor.
Yeah, they take in Alice thinking she's a survivor, but, like, as they're doing tests on her, they realize that she is infected. But, like, she's not exhibiting symptoms. Like, she's not rageful. She's not vomiting blood or anything.
She's just got one eye that is bloodshot.
Yeah, she has one bloodshot eye, and she technically has the virus in her. Like, it is living, and, like, she's a carrier.
Yeah, you learn she's a carrier, and I think it's interesting because they have to do the whole, like, quarantine scrub down.
Yeah.
And then they have her strapped in, and that's when they noticed her bite on her arm, not while they were intensely scrubbing her down in a scalding shower, whatever.
I think for something like that, it could be easy to mistake, like, lesions or, like, marks. When you're, like, bathing and you have a suit on, like, imagine, you know, the fog, too.
I was just thinking
you just see a silhouette of a human being that you're just trying to, like...
I was just thinking about, like, when they stripped her.
Oh, yeah, no.
So I feel like it should have been caught earlier.
Yeah,
but, like,
I don't know.
Our Major Scarlet is like, oh my god, she's a carrier. We can study her for a cure, for an antidote. And our general is like, we're gonna kill her because she's infected. This entire time, Alice is in a makeshift trailer.
Yeah.
It's a makeshift trailer of a quote-unquote quarantine holding area with 0 guards and only a pass key to get through. There's not even security cameras, and it's just, like, in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And that's very surprising to me for, like, she was talking about how they were taking in survivors. Mm-hmm. And I feel like they would have had a more, like, designated quarantine area with more security to make sure that, like, all of the survivors were clean.
Yeah.
So that was weird to me. General Stone being like, we should kill her. I was 50-50 on this because, like, I was going with, I could see the military wanting to test on her, but I could also see it from the point of view if their orders were to kill anyone who was infected no matter what.
Yeah.
So I was 50-50 on whether or not they'd actually keep her alive.
Yeah. No, I was too, because, like, I don't know, when you throw around, in a zombie movie, when you throw around the word cure, it's like the fucking Holy Grail type shit. So, you know, like, that then becomes a very, like, big, like, staple in the story.
So, yeah, 50-50 on whether or not they would keep her to do a cure or not. While they're discussing whether or not they should keep her alive, this is why we brought up the access. Freaking Don comes in, just scanning his card. No one's stopping him, getting to his wife, and then busts in. He's like, oh my god, Alice, you're alive. I love you. And she's like, I love you. They make out, like, tongue and saliva, and there's, like, strings of... it was so gross.
He just makes out with her, and then, wow... Wouldn't you believe it? What, you know, swap and spit with an infected person. Don very quickly just starts puking up blood and,
obviously does not have the antibodies to survive it.
Does not have the whatever.
And can I talk about the spitting blood thing? Like, why?
That's consistent.
Does that happen in the original one?
Yeah.
I don't remember it being as bad.
Well,
not, like, bad visually, but, like, they seem so focused on it in this one that, like, he spits all of that blood on the door and then, like, he's consistently, like, spitting blood everywhere.
I think they might have gone a little overboard with it, but the difference between... And I got this from reading some stuff online. I found this really cool theory. He is, I think, the only person we see get infected not through a bite.
Yeah.
And so people speculate, like, does that in turn, like, change how the virus affects him? We'll delve on it more, but, like, you know, the restraint and stuff that you see him
I read some stuff on this
and
as
stuff like that. Yeah, like, it could be attributed to, like,
the way the virus is processing through his body.
Yes,
versus,
because, like, a bite being violent and, like, just, like, getting that, like, through your veins and, like, all that.
Straight into the blood system versus, traveling.
Yeah, versus like in your spit where it's kind of like, it's a completely different thing, right? Like,
yeah.
I just thought it was very interesting. Like, that itself could be the reason why like so much is different for him.
Yeah.
It also could be a matter of like the virus existed inside Alice for so long that like it had the time to just like grow and mutate into something else. And then when it transferred into him, it was like
a mutated version.
A mutated version that we also like kind of get a peek of in 28 years later, I think, which is like the higher intelligence stuff.
Yeah.
I should stop getting ahead of myself. We'll talk about Don and his zombification.
He beats his wife to death.
Yeah, he does. That is the one thing that I immediately was like, okay, so he doesn't just go for a bite, right? Like that immediately is like, okay, this is different because like he doesn't just run up to her and start ripping her apart with his teeth. He runs up and then like looks at her and like thinks, rips into her throat, and then like gets back and then like fucking punches the shit out of her and then like, you know, jams his thumbs in her eyes.
We get to Code Red because of the infection, which is the dumbest containment plan I've heard in my fucking life. Code Red has 3 stages that Scarlet tells us later. I don't remember what they were because they were very vague. But the whole thing is their plan is to shove everyone in the containment zone, which is the parking garage.
Yeah.
And it has 2 door entrances, but also there are cars in there, so that has to have a car entrance somewhere. Who knows how that works?
Yeah.
And then they padlock them in there. Why did they not just let them, like, lock them in their rooms? Because they know, like, I would understand if this was an unknown threat. Yeah. So, like, if it was war violence, anything like that, like, I could understand taking everyone down to one zone. But they know this virus travels within 28 seconds. Yeah. Right? And so, why would you put all of these people in one area where if someone got bit, they're all fucked? Like, it was nighttime. They were probably all at home anyways. You just yell over the intercom, hey, lock your doors. We're going into Code Red. Yeah, let's just stay where you are.
Shove all you in a room like sheep and...
Yes. And on top of that, it causes mass panic. Yeah. Where, have you ever heard of the Itowa incident in Korea?
Yes. Oh my god, I actually have.
Yeah. So as soon as they all started pounding on the door and like shoving into each other and doing all that kind of stuff, I was like, oh my god, like we're gonna see mass tramples and like just severe panic. Yeah. Because that's what happens when you mass panic people. Yeah. While they're all masked panicking, down in this basement, they turn the power out to turn on the emergency power instead. Why? Who knows? Their power was working fine. They just decided, let's scare people more by shutting all the lights off.
Yeah, that's a good point. I did have a theory about this. I was wondering if, like, maybe the military, you know, because in a lot of these movies, the military usually has an ulterior motive. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be surprised if, like, the military had been set up to just kind of, like, herd and exterminate depending on the situation. And so, you know, whereas, like, even the doctor, what's her name? Scarlet, she's, like, a good person and, like, trying to... Like, she may not have knowledge of it because she's not on the same level as, like, the general. Yeah. Their Code Red could have been a kill order versus, like, our Code Red, you think, like, oh, yeah, you take care of the people and, like, shut this shit down.
I agree with that until later.
Yeah,
because later, they amplify the Code Red, right? Yeah. So it's just a weird Code Red situation that I think wasn't handled properly. And something I did read on Reddit was they weren't prepared for this type of situation, which is weird because they already had the code set in place, right? But it was so precautionary that they didn't actually think about a plan for it because they're like, it's not going to happen. So it was just like a theory that theoretically, if this happens, we're just going to shove everyone in the basement, which isn't even a good theory plan. Again, due to they know how the virus works. Yeah. But that was what the Redditor had said was like, oh, theoretically, they didn't think anything was going to happen. So they had like a vague idea of what to do in the situation.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Well, Don breaks through one of the padlocked doors, is about to go after his son, or does go after his son runs, whatever. The virus spreads like wildfire because he infects one person and then those 2 people go infect 2 other people. It spreads. And I'm surprised that there are any non-infected by the time they escape this basement. Yeah. Because there are some. Between all this, we're getting not flashbacks, but flashes to the general doing orders. We get flashes to the rooftop snipers because there's obviously more than just Doyle. He has the whole Delta crew up there.
Yeah. They're all like picking off zombies. They're screaming at each other because they're like, I don't know, like I can't tell who's
Who's who?
Like, is it a, you know? And so they're panicking because they're like
they do a really well job to start with though.
Like General Stone is telling people like avoid civilians at all costs, only hit like targets.
Yep.
And like you see like the panic and you hear the panic in like the squad's voices because they're like, oh my god, like I don't know what to do because like either people are gonna die either way, but like I don't want to be the one to kill him, but like I need to start shooting, but like I shouldn't because like it's just such a fucking crazy scenario.
And then that's when they get the amplified shoot all targets.
Yeah, then they're like, you know what? This is like it becomes way too like out of.
It's getting out of control. It's a virus that spreads instantly. It's wildfire.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's taking over everyone it possibly can, and so all snipers get the order: shoot to kill everyone, leave no survivors type deal. And Doyle is doing his best to only shoot infected, saves Andy, who we kind of forgot to mention. He got separated from Scarlet and Tammy earlier, Scarlet had saved them, but that's how he got separated. And Doyle shoots one of the infected that's going off after Andy, and then a non-infected guy gets his attention, and Andy gets off, and he's safe, and Doyle kind of just stares at the situation like, what the fuck have I gotten myself into? And leaves his post. He goes AWOL.
Well, yeah, because he ends up having to shoot one of his squad members.
Yeah, who gets attacked.
Because he's like, puts him down, essentially, you know. And this is a guy that, you know, you see him, like, supposedly have a pretty close relationship with, so.
Yeah,
he's like, fuck this, like, I'm, like, after that, like, just, you know, I'm out. So he just fucking dips off the roof.
Yeah, because they do a pretty decent job of showing, like, a few of the squad members with Doyle, like, him and Flynn, obviously, are besties. But, like, they have a fun little, like, game they play on top of the roof, like, looking into people's windows, because no one closes their fucking blinds.
Yeah.
And could not be me. I told Ariana about the black-eyed kids when we lived in our apartment, and now she's terrified to look out windows at night.
Yeah.
And so that's all I can think of when I see an open window is, oh, there's going to be a black-eyed kid standing there.
Yeah,
I could not be me.
No, me neither.
So you see them have like a good repertoire between everybody, and so it does hit him hard when he has to put this guy down.
Yeah.
So he jumps off the rooftop, finds the survivors. Scarlet's telling everyone about Code Red and what that actually means, and Doyle comes in and he's like, well, I'm getting the fuck out of here. Y'all can join me if you want. And she's like, why the fuck did you leave your post? And he's like, why the fuck did you?
Yeah.
And then they don't talk about it for a little bit.
Yeah, and then they just like, yeah.
They're like, well, fair enough, let's go. And so he has, I don't know, 8 people, maybe a little bit more, and he is leading them, trying to, like, get them to safety as best as he can. Then they get attacked.
Yeah, as they're trying to, like, move through the streets, they're actually getting shot at by a fucking sniper that's up on the roof.
They get shot at by the sniper, and they also... is it all sniper kills? Or did some of them get attacked by infect? Oh, I think you're right. I think it was all sniper kills because they're just lying in the street.
Yeah, it was just like...
They don't get up and move.
Yeah, they were like, just fucking drop them.
Yeah, so they lose a handful of people, and Doyle tries to send another throwaway character named Sam to zigzag and be a decoy, and Sam's like, I'm not doing that, blah, 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 and he's like, we're gonna die either way, like, fucking do it, he's gonna miss his shot and I won't, and then Andy breaks away from Tammy and is the zigzag decoy.
Yeah.
This fucking kid, man. And he goes, Doyle doesn't miss his shot, kid's fine, and then he looks over and his dad, Don, infected boy, is just standing there staring, and I still am not sure if this is just, like, his PTSD trauma or if Don was actually there.
Well, I think he was actually there.
Where did he go? Because he just disappears once Doyle walks on
screen.
Well,
see, I think that's where, like, this is where you really realize that, like, oh, the virus is different now. Like, this thing isn't just acting out of rage and, like, charging at them. Mm-hmm. It's, like...
thinking.
Staying hidden, like, coming up with a strategy, at least, or, like, pondering its actions versus... Initially, when you see the virus in, like, the first movie, it's just rage. Like, you just see people just wanting to go and rip apart and eat and, you know.
Well, they make their way through the city and down into, I think it's supposed to be another chunk of the undergrounds, unclear. Like the railway is what they get into. Right before the military decides to bomb District 1.
Yeah, they just carpet bomb the entire district.
It's gotten out of hand. They give the order, and then right before the bombing, the order to use chemical weapons was also given.
Yes.
So you see everything get decimated, you see a bunch of people catch on fire, and while they're down in the tunnels, I thought of The Incredibles when they're in the cave, and the rocket shoots off, and all of those flames coming straight at them, like a freaking funnel. and they have to run up these stairs, and Scarlet got shot in the leg, and she's like, "'Tis but a flesh wound," and she's limping a lot. Jeremy Renner?
Yeah.
And Scarlet, I can't remember her like, real name. I watched interviews of both of them being like, I think all we did was run. I just remember being so exhausted all of the time after every shoot.
From just running.
And then Alice's actress also stated, like, you have to portray so much fear in every scene that it's just so exhausting shot after shot. And so, like, all of the actors just seem so exhausted after filming. And they had a longer film schedule than 28 Days Later did, too. So they were doing this for a hot second.
Yeah. Oh, we did. They end up getting out of town before the carpet bombings go, and then, like, they stop at, like, a carnival.
Yeah, so this entire time, Doyle has been on comms with the helicopter pilot, Flynn. Flynn is the one who's able to warn them about the carpet bombing.
Yeah.
And so they're able to escape District 1 into a clearing. Flynn gives them a pickup destination where he can stop and get them. However, he states, "I will only get you. I'm not picking up anyone else." And they get chased, like, this entire time they're running, they're chased by infected, up into a certain point. And, like, my question with that is, like, they bombed. They murdered. How many people were they, like, back to District 1? Because I think this is a whole second wave. I don't think any of the infected, like, that were originally there survived, because it stated 5 weeks is what it takes for them to die of starvation. So, like, how many people did they already take in the 4 weeks that they started building? That's insane.
Yeah.
So they get to, like, a rundown carnival. They kind of get a second of reprieve, and this is where they talk about, like, why they went AWOL, and Doyle is like, "I saw the kid, and I couldn't shoot him." Yeah. And Scarlet's like, they hold the answer in their genetic code, most likely, for a freaking cure. They also decide not to tell the kids they might have this genetic cure in their genes.
Yeah.
The kids don't know. They don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
Which I think is a really bad idea.
At this, like, little carnival or whatever, they, like, want the kids to go, like, have fun or whatever, and that's why Doyle and Scarlet are talking. But then Flynn is like, "Bro, you got zombies, like, coming, like, now." And so they're like, "Oh shit, like, pack up and go." And as they see, like, this large group of zombies, like, crest over the field, they duck down. Flynn comes over and tries to, like, or he goes and lands, and Doyle runs up to, like, talk to him, and he's like, "Who the fuck are all these people? Like, I'm not taking these people." And Doyle's like, "Dude, no, like,
we're gonna take him.
We're gonna go." Like, and Flynn's just like,
"I ain't taking
fuck, no, we ain't." Like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but no, we're not. And
then throwaway character Sam jumps on the little bars of a helicopter, and Flynn's like, "Get the fuck off my helicopter," and starts doing, like, some weird maneuvering to get him to get shaken off.
Yeah, Sam panics. Because, he just panics and is like, "Fuck this, get me out of here," and grabs the railing on the helicopter, and so Flynn's, like, flailing him around, trying to, like, get him off. In order to help Doyle and Scarlet and the kids, Flynn just ends up, like, mowing through all the zombies with his helicopter blades.
Thoughts on that? I heard some people being like, a true military helicopter pilot would never risk such a risky move.
Yeah, I don't think that the blades would be just fine to continue working after that. I think that, like, through all of those bodies, you would have some sort of damage to the blades or, like, the rotor or something, to where I don't think that helicopter would have worked after that.
I don't know anything about helicopter mechanics, so I can't really speak on that, but I could totally see a gung-ho military man trying to do that. Yes. I don't know if he'd be successful in it like Flynn was, but I could see someone attempting that. I don't think it's that weird. I also read a few things, like, in the same vein, again, on Reddit, of people being like, "How did the zombies know where they were?" And I was like, honestly, I think they were following the helicopter, and it was Flynn's fault.
Yeah, honestly.
That was my headcanon on that, is that they were just following Flynn, and Flynn was going towards them. So that was my thought.
Yeah, no, it does make sense. But, I mean, they do end up... Doyle ends up telling Flynn, like, "You meet us at this place."
The stadium.
And, like, we're gonna fucking be there. So you better be there, like, type shit.
Yeah, and Flynn's like, "It better just be you ditch those people. I'm still not taking them."
Yeah.
And so I had to point this out. At this point, Tammy's eyes are such a stark contrast to the rest of her, because this is the point where she starts getting, like, muddy and bloody, and her bright-ass blue eyes start throwing me off, because every time you see her, you're like, "Oh, that's really bright, that's really clean," for the rest of your body, and they just stick out a lot more. Yeah. She was actually scouted because she was a model, And so, like, in some of the scenes, I could be like, yeah, no, I see that you were definitely a model, like, just the way she holds herself in, like, certain things. I was like, yeah, that makes sense to me.
It's funny.
So they run into town, kind of into town.
Yeah, they run into this, I
am so confused about, like, suburbs and how London is laid out and where they, like, because they went away from the Isle of Dogs, like, because they crossed the river. Mm-hmm. So they ended up somewhere. Is the stadium back over on the Isle of Dogs, or is it somewhere else? I was a little confused geography-wise. And then I got more confused because, like, Doyle and Scarlett seemed to know exactly where they were going. And I'm not a good person at directions. I don't think I'd be able to find it.
Yeah, I think, especially as Americans.
Yeah, and there's no way they had any time to, like, scour the area and, like, look around. And, like, it makes sense for the kids to know where the stadium is because they grew up there.
I wonder, I don't know if, like, being stationed somewhere, like, overseas in the military, I wonder if, like, doesn't the Army give you some sort of, like, basic education on, like, the area that you're going to be stationed in?
And not as far as I know.
Yeah. I also wonder if it's just, like, a matter of Doyle being on the rooftops for so long that he just, like, looked over and saw, like, oh, there's this fucking stadium, like, way the fuck over there.
Yeah, maybe.
You know,
it was just, for me, this whole next chunk is really hard for me to, like, geography-wise, being like, they just know where to go because they find a car. Well, they don't intentionally find a car. They're wandering the streets trying to get to the stadium, and they see gas. And Doyle and Scarlett are like, oh shit, get in the car, and so they get in the car. They're trying to plug up all the vents, do this stuff. They're, like, holding their breath. Infected surround the car. They're banging on the windows, doing all this stuff until they finally succumb to the gas. And through the gas, you can see a squad of flamethrower military boys.
Yeah, that are just coming through, sweeping the shit that dies from the gas.
Making sure they're burning. And, of course, it's a manual, and it is not starting. And so Doyle's like, pop the clutch when I tell you to. I'll meet you there. Leaves his gun, gets out, and pushes the car to get it to, like, push start. And then he catches on fire, and the kids watch him burn to death.
Yep. And the car starts, and Scarlett starts driving away, and flamethrower guys just catch Doyle on fire. And we watch Hawkeye burn out of this life so that he may join the next life in the Avengers universe. These poor kids, man, like, they already have so much other trauma to work through, and now they gotta watch their survivor boy flame broiled. Like, I could not imagine all of the shit the after of this movie, right? Like, and I talk about that a lot in movies, especially with survivors, like, at the end, like, the trauma. But enough of that, because they don't get to deal with their trauma yet. No, they keep pushing on, and they drive.
They start getting shot by a helicopter.
Yeah, a helicopter pulls up and starts shooting at them as they're driving down the road. So they
go back to the underground. She drives into the underground and gets pretty far in the car.
Yeah.
Before they have to hop out. And it's super, super dark. The only thing they can do once they get down, like, deep enough is the sniper scope has night vision on it. And Scarlett has the night vision scope. So she's trying to lead the kids, and you can tell this is where she has zero field training. Yeah. Because she cannot de-escalate the situation to save her life. She's screaming. The kids are freaking out. She's not great at this part.
No.
You can tell she's a doctor.
Yeah. They're, like, trying to walk down an escalator. She's yelling at the kids, like, oh, step to the right. Like, don't step on that. But, like, oh my God. She, like, at one point, she's just like, no, stop. And you're like, oh my God, what? And she's like, go left. And you're like, oh. All right, like,
and then it's not great. She screams at a lot of stuff when she should, like I said, she is escalating a situation that needs to be de-escalated.
But she
on the escalator.
Oh my God, that's great. She does escalate it so far that both of the kids just trip and fall down the escalator.
That is covered in bodies.
Yeah.
They trip, fall, and then she can't find them because the kids wandered off after falling down the escalator.
Well, first off, they wandered off, and second of all, they just, like, don't answer her when she calls the first 4 times, because she's like, kids! Hello, like,
crackling voice, like, screaming as loud as she can, and they don't answer her, and she ends up finding Tammy first.
Mm-hmm. And Tammy's like, I can't find, I can't, I'm so bad with names.
Andy,
yeah.
She's like, I lost Andy.
I lost Andy, and you're like, oh my God, fucking kid.
And then Scarlett gets beat to death by Dawn, who is also here.
Yes, Dawn just shows up and grabs the gun and starts breaking Scarlett's face with the butt end of it.
And then Tammy picks up the gun.
Yeah.
And is able to see dead Scarlet, who now she has more trauma, compounded trauma.
Yep.
And she's wandering with the sniper, trying to figure out where Andy is. Dawn chases after Andy, and again, bringing Barbarian back into this, the ambient lighting that should not be in the underground tunnels of London.
Yeah.
There is so much ambient light. Like, they made a whole thing about having to look through the dark vision night scope, and then as soon as they get to where the train is, there's so much ambient light you can make out faces and shadows and everything, and like, to a point where when Dawn attacks Andy, Tammy is like, don't do it, Dad, like, can make out that it's her dad without looking through the sniper scope.
Yeah.
Also, she shoots from the hip when she shoots at Dawn, and I was like, damn, that kicked back.
I didn't even realize that.
She shoots it from down here. She's just like...
That's fucking funny. That'll just, like, torque your shoulder in the wrong way.
Anyways, they're British. Yeah. They don't have gun safety.
Yeah. Well, also, yeah, that is one big part of it. Also, Dawn bites Andy. And so you're like, oh my god, like, are we gonna... Like, is this where we find out he is also the same...
Tammy runs up to him,
and he's laying on the ground, and she, like, looks in his eye, and, like, you see the blood, like, filling his eye, but she's like, I don't think you're... No, he's like, am I okay? And she's like, yeah, I think you're fine. But kind of, like, shocked, because she's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, because, originally he ran off, and she had to chase him again, and because he thought he was going to turn.
Yeah.
And then when they go back, that was a weird effect, too, watching his eye, like, become bloodshot.
Yeah.
And she's like, we're never going to be separated again. And he's like, am I one of them? And she's like, no, you aren't. As she's watching his eye go complete bloodshot.
Yeah.
So
but I think...
he acts like his mom, right? He acts like a carrier, not an infected.
Yeah.
Is I think the main difference. Like, he's not very anxious or, like, aggravated, nothing like that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's anxious because of the situation, not, like, agitated like he's infected. And they walk through the tunnels to the stadium. And this part I don't have a problem with because, again, these kids live there. Yeah. Like, I feel like as soon as they were able to get above ground again, they could probably find their way to the stadium.
Yeah.
Especially because she's, like, 17. Like, I feel like at that point, especially living in a big city, you probably know crossroads and how to do that.
Yeah.
I'm guessing because I did not grow up in a big city and I can't do that. I was a landmark human.
Yeah.
But from 100%. What I know about people who grew up here, they know what ways north and the crossroads and all of this weird shit.
Somehow.
So,
I'm not a part of those people, but,
Same.
Yeah, so the kids make it to the stadium, and Flynn is there, and he sees the kids walk in, he pulls his gun out, and he's like, where is everyone, you know?
Where's Flynn?
Yeah, like...
Or not Flynn, where's Doyle?
And Tammy's just like, it's just us.
And they zoom in on her freaking blue-ass fucking eyes, and it trips me out so bad. Just like these bright-ass blue eyes with her dirty-ass face and all of this blood and shit.
Yeah.
And like, obviously the reason for that is to make sure they're not infected, but it just gives me the heebie-jeebies how bright her eyes are.
Yeah, it's just a stark contrast.
To everything, yeah. And then they, like, zoom in on her eyes and then zoom in on her mouth as she says it's just us, and it's like, there's no blood on her. There's, like, obviously she has zero signs of infection.
Yeah.
And Andy's hiding behind her at this point, and when he peeks out, it's his good eye, I think? I can't remember what eye shows, but, like, you see one of his eyes, you don't see both of them, and Flynn caves and is like, fine, get in the freaking airplane, or get in the copter.
Yep.
So they get in there and get a flyover decimated London. That, again, is decimated, even though they just rebuilt a bunch of stuff, and it seems like he takes them across the channel. Yeah. Which was what Doyle wanted them to do in the first place, was take them across the channel. Yeah, so Doyle and Scarlet got their mission was completed, but they just didn't make it through. Well, and they also didn't tell the kids that they're part of a freaking cure, so no one knows they're part of a freaking cure, and so if they see... Andy, he's shoot on sight. Yeah. Like, as soon as you see that bite, right? You get a black screen, and you get 28 days later on this the text on the screen, and it's Flynn's empty copter with a radio chatter going over it, right? Like, trying to connect to the copter radio, being like, we need assistance, we need assistance. Then you see a horde of infected running into Paris, France. That's it. That's the end. Did Andy turn, like, fully and start infecting people? How did the infection get there? What happened to Flynn and Tammy and Andy? Yeah. Like, he had to have he bit someone. He had to have, it was his fault.
Yeah.
But how? Who knows?
Yeah, no, I think, like, rewatching the movie and, like, really, like, especially after not rewatching, but seeing 28 years later, they definitely did not make this movie with plans to make a third, because...
Well, it was a different director and writer for this one.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck they did with Andy, or, you know, The Cure. I mean, as far as, like... my theories for how it fits into 28 years later is, like, you have maybe, like, Andy is the reason why, like, maybe could have, like, created a cure or, like, a way to fight it, and then, like, fought it back in Paris before it got too bad. I don't fucking know.
Paris is so densely populated.
Yeah,
that's the thing. And so in 28 years, they talk about that a little bit, like, not in the movie, but the directors and the stuff I've been reading, like, it just got retconned, is what happened for years. Is they're like, that was too much, we're just gonna retcon that, because the original writer comes back for years. Yeah. And so he just retcons all of it, and is like, nope, it stayed in mainland UK, like, it didn't go to France. Yeah. Which, because, if it went to France, it's gonna take over that entire continent. Like, there's no stopping it then.
Yeah, 100%. And that would be...
Let's see, I did not have a lot of, like, BTS or anything for this movie very much. Like,
it seemed like a very, like, cut and dry, like...
Yeah, it was kind of straight to the point, besides, like, trying to keep it handheld camera. The one fun fact I did have is all of the infected in this movie had a movement background, so they were, like, dancers and gymnasts and mimes, and, like, they all could move their bodies very well.
That's cool.
To give them, like, the more limmy kind of, like, free flow run and, like, vibe that they do versus, like, static, because, like, the original... infected were all athletes. And so I felt like they had the speed, but, like, these guys have, like, the weird, like, not body contortion, but, like...
The twitches and, like, the unsettling movements and all that. Yeah. Yeah, no, I really like that, because, like, you can tell, too. And again, like, the director obviously tries to, like, keep some of the initial feeling, because you see, like, when zombies are attacking, or, like, when there's, like, a scary scene happening, you see the use of just, like, an overflow of, like, the color red. Yeah. So, like, you'll see a cut of Andy's face in like, the chaos, and it's just completely red, and you're like, there's no red lights in this situation. But, like, that's just, like, same as, like, in the first 28 days later, when, like, at the beginning, they're trying to, like, instill that, like, idea of, like, rage, and just, like, red, like, you know...
Something I did find interesting about all of the interviews and stuff, everyone called it a survival action movie. No one called it, like, a horror zombie movie. And so I was like, you know what? Like, putting it in that lens, it fits that genre way more than saying this is a zombie horror movie.
Yeah, because, like, I know I feel like I use World War Z as, like, the benchmark for, like, zombie, but I think it's just because it's, like, so, like... It's just zombie. Like, that movie is very little plot, and it's mostly just like, oh my god, like, zombie apocalypse crazy.
I'm gonna have to watch it, because, I still haven't seen it.
Oh, you and I need to watch it, because I know it's a bad movie, but I love it. It's a very, like, intense and, like, freaky zombie movie.
Zombie movies aren't ones that, like, I delve in too much. Like, they're not my go-to horror movies. Yeah. Or, like, anything like that. So I think I've seen the least of, like, zombie-type movies. So this whole, like, genre is my least knowledgeable, I would say.
See, I Am Legend, for instance. Yeah.
Vampires.
Technically vampires. Yes. But, like, when it first came out, like, me growing up, it was a zombie movie, right? Like, it wasn't like a...
That's fair. Like, the way it runs, it feels like a zombie movie.
Yes. It's just, like... vampiric zombies. You know what I mean? Like, they can't go out in the sun. There are a lot of different ways that I think you can, like, approach the zombie trope, and it can be so obscure that, like, you can lean as far as to, like, oh, no, they're not even zombies anymore. It's just this, like, rage virus.
Yeah, and I think the thing with this one is, like, I feel like it leans heavily away from the rage virus and more into zombie gore. Yeah. And so it's this weird, like... middle child syndrome, right? Like, oh yeah. Versus the first one, and then years that had just come out, like, it's the one I think people like the least, care about the least. And, like, for some reason, in the interviews, they're all like, oh yes, our Spanish director is going to bring in this, like, they hampered on the fact that this guy was Spanish. And it was like, you weird ass Brits, like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I guess it was like 2007, so maybe it wasn't like, maybe it was a big deal to have a Spanish director, but it was just like some of the things they said just threw me off of like, why does this matter? Yeah. But it was cool, like, I think the DVD version of it has, the whole, like, BTS thing I watched, but I ended up watching it on YouTube, called Code Red, and it's, like, the making of, and, like, talking about everything they did, but it wasn't anything, like, there weren't sets to talk about, because they filmed in London, like, they had a bigger budget, so it's not like they had to homebrew a lot of stuff, or, like, home make a lot of things. They were kind of just filming on location the entire time. Like, the effects makeup is always really nice, but for this, it was just contacts and, like, different degrees of blood. Like, they talked about, like, black blood for, like, the dried stuff versus, like, the fresh blood, and if you were newly turned, you had fresh blood in your mouth to do the spit takes, and all that kind of stuff. So there wasn't a lot to, like, delve into, and I kind of, like, maybe that's why I don't like it as much, because I do like set design and like all that kind of stuff that goes into it. The storyline just feels like it has a lot of plot holes. A lot of people on Reddit were like, it's just shitty writing.
It is shitty writing. I agree. I mean, to have Idris Elba come in and be like, if the virus comes back, we're gonna kill it. You know, if you say that again, Idris Elba, I'm gonna fucking kill myself.
Jesus, you're gonna affect the trout population.
Hell yeah. Well,
it's not good.
It's a movie. It's fine.
It's fine. If you go in wanting just an action flick and don't care about an actual plot, it's fine. It's a movie you can throw on.
It's got some spooky parts. Like, some parts, even I was like, oh yeah, like, that's unsettling. You know what I mean?
It's got unsettling bits, and it makes you not like zombies more, in my opinion.
Yeah, it makes you want to watch The Avengers.
It's a movie you can throw on in the background and actually get shit done around your house.
Yeah.
You're not really going to sit and watch it, because you can miss stuff and it still doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much random ass travel, and like,
you're gonna look at the explosions, and then you're gonna see Jeremy Renner catch on fire. You're gonna be like, cool, my laundry's done. Next in line, you know?
Yeah, this is one that I don't think I will probably ever revisit. I can't see myself ever wanting to, like, the urge to watch this.
I'm never going to go out of my way to rewatch this unless I have to show somebody for some reason.
Yeah, that's the only thing I could think of. It is like, who the hell would I have to show this movie to? And I was like, well, because all of our friends watch horror movies, right?
Yeah.
And then their friends who haven't seen this movie don't watch horror movies, so there's no reason for us to show them it. And I was like, I don't know, maybe my kid one day will want to watch this entire trilogy, and I'll have to sit down and watch it for them. And that's the only thing I can see myself watching this for.
Long story short, if you show this to your friends, there is a chance they may hit you. There is a chance that they may be like, dude, this is such a good movie. But there's also a good chance that they may just punch you.
And just be like, why the fuck did you make me watch this?
So
this is our first one we've recorded that we don't recommend it, I think. Like, we started the episode being like, we don't like this movie. We ended it with, we don't recommend it. Watch something else.
Yeah.
Watch 28 Days Later. Watch 28 Years Later.
Yeah.
Watch Z Nation. I don't know.
28 weeks from now, I'm definitely not going to be thinking about this movie.
I'm going to be thinking about Tammy's weird-ass eyes, though. Can't get that out of my head.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode. Follow our Instagram and threads at No Self Service Pod. Until next time.